Hi, welcome. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. It's late night. Oh, let me see. 5 to 9. Late night for us. But we've had one of those days. Had to walk down to the road. Not a big deal in the old days, but because we've been spoiled by having our little red truck to ride down in, we've become, as I say, we've become spoiled. So, walking down there in the mud from a heavy few days of rain, we not quite so pleasant as it used to be, even though the scenery is just as beautiful as ever. So we walked down, went up to Talabong, and we went to our usual haunt for uploading a few videos. That was our restaurant, Vidasto. Not ours, of course, but that's where we always go. We actually featured the Vidasto restaurant in one of our videos. So we got the truck was in Nestor's workshop. And we got the bad news when we went there that it wasn't just a question of cleaning out the carb. It has burnt out the rings, piston rings. So it's been a matter of taking the motor down, new piston rings and various other seals have got to be replaced. Very boring stuff for us people who are not madly in love with mechanical work. A new gasket and stuff like that came out to 2,800 pesos. Not a huge amount of money in dollars, but we're not in dollars, we're in pesos. So we got a very kind break from Nestor, who said that he would do the job for 4,500, which once again it's not a great deal of money. Try to go to a mechanic in the US or the UK and for $100 get him to break down the engine, put new rings in, new head gasket and all of the other stuff that has to be done along with that, and he would try to have you committed, I think. So we got away pretty lightly and were able to pick up the truck finally about 5 o'clock as he promised, and we were able to come home. Well, it was a mad dash then to go to we tried to get back to the site of the rag house in time to pay the workers there, but we failed miserably. We had been promised the truck for 4 o'clock, but the way that it turned out it was after 5, and so it was just too late to get there. But we did go, and we had a wonderful sight for sore eyes. We saw the terrific progress that the Superman team had made. No surprises there. They always work so hard and produce some kind of a miracle somehow. So the roof is on, part of the cladding is there, all of the superstructure in the wooden frame has been done, and to the gentleman, one of our subscribers, who said it will last 10 years, it will last a lot longer than 10 years, believe me. Maybe some repairs. Tell me a house that doesn't need repairs in 10 years. So the family was stood on the roadside, which is so much higher than the house itself. It falls down a steep slope down to the area where the house is, and they were on the top by the grass verge on the road, and they were admiring their new house to be with a neighbour, and very happy people they are too. But the real shot in the arm was going down to the house itself and seeing 6 small children, and you can see this in the video, and we did a video actually showing the work in progress, so you'll see the kids, 6 little kids that are going to be in a safe house now. And so we're still looking for some way to fund a kitchen, but I never really worry very much about these things anymore. I try to explain this to someone in a email, how it just it just comes. Somebody gets touched by a picture, by an image, by a story, and it will happen. That family will have their kitchen, their house, and probably, possibly by Tuesday. That's what we're aiming for. That's the budget that we've got for the house itself, and for the kitchen, which is yet to come, it will come. So, what was the great joy of the day was in being able to say that even though we had a disappointment today in that our plan for this weekend was 2 ice cream treats, and unfortunately the one that was financed by one of our subscribers, just check whether we can say his name, Beth. Yeah. The subscriber that paid for today for the ice cream, Mitch. Does he have a code name?
Mitch.
Say it again.
Mitch.
Mitch?
Yeah, from Australia.
Okay, so Mitch from Ontario paid for this today, but it didn't happen. Sorry about that, Mitch. We had no way to get the thing there. So what happens is on these ice cream treats, just to bring you up to date so that you know, is that it's kind of like a little 1950s man on a bicycle wheeling around the streets, ringing a bell, saying ice cream, and he has 2 portable, non-electric storage pots for the ice cream, and he serves that, and it keeps it long enough, keeps it cold long enough for him to do his round, and then he goes back for more. So that's what we get, and we get that on a wooden trolley, and we dispense the ice cream to the kids out of that, and it's a lot of fun, and a sort of touch of the old days. Well, Mitch, we weren't able to do that, but we will do it next week, have no fear. But tomorrow I'll have the truck, so I'll be able to pick up all the kids. We've increased the number of kids that we're going to take by at least 6 from today from the rag house, and we have promised some clothes, which we now have from the latest box that we got. We have some more clothes, a lot of kids clothes, just great stuff, you know, and all beautiful stuff too. So the kids at the church who have been told to come in for ice cream will also have an extra treat of getting an article of clothing, which is wonderful stuff. So that's going to happen tomorrow. We're going to pick up some extra kids. So right back in the workforce goes our little truck. It's not completely okay. There's still some trouble with a fuel line, and it gets starved of fuel at times, so we lose power, and therefore sometimes we have to on our way home today, we got to the bottom of the hill by the bridge, and we tried it up the hill, failed halfway. Everybody gets out and walks up and we gun it up the hill with just 2 of us in there, and we can always make it. So that brings me on to a suggestion that was made by Bob. Bob said, why don't you do a 2-inch or a 4-inch hike on the suspension, and see if you can cobble together a double wheel conversion on the back, so you have like a double wheel truck, and that will be a lot better than paying $2 million, 2 million pesos for a new truck. Well, first of all, thanks Bob, it's a great idea, but unfortunately there's the rest of the truck, you know, and in as much as if you were trying to soup up a truck or a car or something, you wouldn't just put a V8 engine in it, you would put V8 brakes so that the thing wouldn't just go at the speed of light, it would actually stop. So it's not just about what the thing you can load it with. There's a whole front end which is going through agony every time we come up that hill. and it really is hard. Go back and have a look at the video of what it's like to drive that truck either up or down. We got videos on both. It's more than this little truck can handle. Even if it's not fully loaded, the test of all of the suspension and the front end is just too great. And already it has McPherson struts on there on the way out. Brakes are needed next, and we've already had a new clutch and I can smell that. Somebody said, the smell of burning clutch in the early morning. And yes, yeah, you must have been able to smell that on the video, because that's probably going to be next. So next, brakes. We also had the bushings repaired on the torsion bars for the suspension. They're banging and clanking away already, as anybody with a mechanical bent can hear. Somebody said, if that's these springs where you've got a shock absorber with a spring wrapped around it, they need replacing. And yes, you're right. So thanks, Bob. But in any case, it would not save us from buying a 2 million peso truck, because a 2 million peso truck is about 16 or 17 hundred-thousand, well, 1,700,000 pesos more than we would be able to spend anyway. So, good idea. Thanks for caring enough to lay that out. Unfortunately, it won't work. So, the next thing we'll be looking at is trying, once we get a new truck, we're going to go heavy, much heavier duty than you would think we would need, so that this time we're slightly underloaded, or at least loaded. You work it out. If you get every Sunday, my Sunday driver's job, as I always call it, is to go over to the Three Little Girls community. It's actually 4 little girls, and pick up about what must be about 9 children now, and about 5 or 6 adults. Well, work it out. I think the payload on our little truck is about 650 pounds. So the idea that we're not drastically overloading is only a mere hope. It doesn't happen, and that's every Sunday, and that's up and down a hill that would kill a truck anyway, up to the church. It's just a fact of life here in the Philippines, and we accept it, as I've said before. So that's a little update that I wanted to make about our day today. Started off disappointing, and then ended up looking at viewing a miracle. That was how I thought about it. Okay, so thanks for looking in. On to the next video. Bye for now.